Greetings, Warriors fans. In today's video, I bring you a ton of updates, so don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're just one day away from the Warriors game, a matchup that, frankly, many of us are disappointed to be part of. There's important news to discuss regarding a particular player and how the team is shaping up for the postseason, especially after some notable absences in the recent game against a rival team. We'll also touch on an injury update for another player who suffered a collision late in that game and was seen limping afterward. His status for the upcoming play-in game is still uncertain. But before diving deeper into all of this, if you want to see the Warriors win and secure a playoff spot, don't forget to support this video. We can't afford to be the ones who didn't back the team if things go wrong in this crucial game. So go ahead, cheer them on as they face the Grizzlies. Now, regarding the notable absences in the last game, something we touched on during our preview. One player in particular didn't see the court at all during that intense overtime matchup. We're learning more about the coach's decision. If you recall, there was word from an internal source that early in the game, when another player checked in, it was to take the place of the one left out of the rotation. The expectation going into that game was that this player wouldn't be part of the coach's planned rotation, and that turned out to be true. The coach was asked about this during the post-game press conference, where he explained his reasoning for shortening the rotation in the final game of the season. He noted that they had found a lineup that had been working well since the arrival of a particular player. That rotation may change today, but so far it hasn't. Another player, who's been a solid contributor over the last few months, also didn't get any minutes. Both he and a teammate have been extremely impactful recently, but their absence doesn't mean they're out of the long-term plans. It's just how this specific game played out. Interestingly, the coach seemed more optimistic about one of them compared to the other. He even told one of the players before the game that he wouldn't be part of the rotation. It's a strange situation. This player's role has been shrinking in recent weeks as the team tries to return to form, especially during this injury phase. Ironically, this same player dropped 38 points and grabbed 10 rebounds in their last matchup against a rival team. Still, the coach chose not to use him. To be fair, it's understandable. Since returning from injury, this player has been inefficient, struggling to create space on the floor. He was never known as a great floor spacer, but his recent performance has been concerning. He's been a play stopper, poor shot selection, lack of flow in the offensive scheme. The coach simply didn't want to risk the disorganization he brings. They couldn't afford scoreless stretches, and they had a few of those in the game. If another player is going to be out there for 48 minutes in an overtime battle, the team can't ignore the need for offensive flow. When he's on the court, the team can't afford to go cold, and scoring has been an issue lately. If one player's logging 48 minutes and another 40, the opportunity for a third player to contribute becomes limited. The coach recently pointed out that the trio's presence together hasn't worked, frustrating given the high expectations. But the player just hasn't lived up to them. Earlier in the season, while another player was sidelined, this team went 12-2 in the first 14 games with him active. Their numbers during that stretch were phenomenal. An offensive rating of 121.6, best in the league over an 82-game span, and a defensive rating of 109.6, top 5 in the NBA. They also averaged 25 free throws per game during that hot streak, which would rank first in the NBA. Since this player's return, however, that average has dropped to just 20 per game, a noticeable decline. Some may ask if he's declining as a player. I'd argue no. His future with the franchise is uncertain, but he may still have a postseason role. A veteran teammate offered some encouragement, reminding us that for young players in this league, the biggest challenge is not knowing when your number will be called. This just wasn't his moment, but that could change very soon. There's been speculation that the coach should be more involved in certain lineup decisions, but this isn't that kind of situation. Players struggle to react to changes year to year, but management can and should plan accordingly. One player's case is a clear example of poor front office planning. He didn't get the contract extension he was hoping for before the season started, reportedly asking for more money than he was worth. And now, we're seeing the fallout. He clearly isn't worth $30 million per year. If that was always the case, why wasn't he traded? Why didn't the team make a deal that could have brought in someone who adds value? Someone who can put up 30 points and shoot 40% from deep, complimenting the stars? This is a textbook case of organizational mismanagement. Now, it looks like the team might lose him for nothing. If a trade does happen, it's unlikely they'll get a player of equal value. Front office decisions have been questionable. It's becoming more doubtful that this player will have any significant role in the playoffs. What do you think? Should he play in the next game? Does he deserve a spot in such an important matchup? The team just lost a critical game without him. Should he be part of this upcoming battle? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Type P to play, S to sit. One player I would have loved to see on the court is a young guy we haven't mentioned yet. He's been impressive in terms of effort. He might not always show up in the box score, but he constantly fights for extra possessions. There were times when the team simply didn't compete hard enough, and in tight games, those little things matter. It's frustrating that he wasn't in the rotation, especially when his energy was clearly needed. The conversation about expanding the rotation for the playoffs remains open, but I believe he's already earned his place. Let's not forget, during the team's peak earlier in the season, even with a certain player out, this young guy filled those minutes. He was in the rotation and contributed during a stretch when the team was excelling in several key metrics. I'd like to see him back in the lineup for this must-win game. He's capable of making big plays. Now, let's shift to the injury update I mentioned earlier. We'll talk about the chances of this key player being fully recovered for the upcoming game. But first, if you're looking for last-minute tickets at affordable prices, there are some great options out there. Watching live events, especially basketball, is always a thrill, and let's be honest, nothing beats the drama of NBA playoff basketball. The best way to score last-minute tickets is through an app that guarantees the lowest price. I love attending live games. Basketball is my favorite, and the NBA semifinals are absolutely electric. Last year, I snagged tickets to the Mavericks versus Clippers game at the American Airlines Center just an hour or two before tip-off because prices were dropping fast. I use an app that always delivers on low prices. If you're planning to attend an NBA semifinal, definitely check it out. It's easy to use, looks great, and the last-minute deals are unbeatable. Plus, there are no hidden fees if you enable that setting, and you can preview your seat with a 360-degree view. It takes the guesswork out of ticket buying. You can save up to 60% on tickets for sports, concerts, theater, stand-up, and more, not just NBA games. Now, is Jimmy Butler 100%? What happened at the end of the game against the Clippers had me seriously concerned. He took a hit to the thigh, and thankfully, it looks like just a bruise from Kawhi Leonard's drive. You can see in the footage. I initially thought it was a knee collision, which would have been way worse, but it wasn't. Jimmy stayed in the game, was limping a bit, and moved stiffly at times. That worried me. I know Butler is the kind of player who'll gut it out to finish a game, but what does that mean for the next one against the Grizzlies? He was asked about the injury after the game and said, "I'll be fine. I'm going to get some coffee, play some dominoes, and I'll feel better." I'm glad he's optimistic. He wasn't in visible pain, didn't need crutches or a boot, just a slight limp after the presser. So, for now, it looks like a significant bruise. And when a 6'9" monster like Kawhi Leonard comes barreling into you, that's going to leave a mark. But Butler expects to be on the floor Tuesday against the Grizzlies, which is great news for the fans because they're absolutely going to need him. Considering he dropped 30 points and dished out 9 assists against the Clippers, he looked aggressive, creating his own looks and pushing the offense. I still think there were moments when Butler could have demanded the ball more. He was clearly talking to his teammates about it. But if he plays like that, the team has a real shot to beat the Grizzlies and make noise against the Rockets in the first round of the NBA playoffs. He's confident in that, too. He says they're right where they need to be. The Bay Area squad is gearing up to take down the Grizzlies and sees a solid path forward against Houston in the first round. The team is confident and feels like they're in the driver's seat. They believe they're exactly where they want to be, with plenty of basketball ahead. Right now, the focus is all about executing the game plan. In the game against the Clippers, one player stood out when others weren't at their best. He finished with 30 points, 9 assists, a steal, and a block, all while shooting efficiently. That performance matters because he usually doesn't take many shots. Against the Clippers, he attempted 15 or fewer in just 4 of 30 total games with the Warriors so far. His shot volume has been modest, but considering he could be looking at a $55 to $60 million deal over the next 2 years, he has to stay aggressive. Scoring matters more than ever in these playoffs. Those shots need to fall. So what do you think? Will he take a more offensive approach against the Grizzlies? How many points do you think he'll score? Drop your predictions in the comments. I figured it'd be fun to throw in a lighthearted question before we wrap up. Tomorrow, we've got a win-or-go-home showdown between the Warriors and the Grizzlies, a pivotal moment for both teams. It's do or die, and we need all the support, energy, and excitement we can rally. So stay tuned for the best Warriors coverage out there. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. It's a quiet storm brewing in the Bay Area, and at the center of it all stands a rookie who refuses to be sidelined. Tracy Jackson Davis, better known to fans as TJD, has been making waves not only with his on-court presence, but with a growing sense of urgency off it. Though drafted late at 57th overall in the 2023 NBA Draft, the former Indiana Hoosier has played with the fire of a top pick, blocking shots, grabbing boards, and flashing potential that has caught the eye of scouts league-wide. But as the Golden State Warriors grapple with an identity crisis in the twilight of the dynasty era, one thing has become clear. Jackson Davis isn't content with waiting in the wings any longer. Early in the 2023 to 2024 season, there were flashes of brilliance. 13 points and 9 boards against the Pelicans, back-to-back double-doubles in December, and a monster performance against the Bucks where he blocked Giannis not once, not twice, but 3 times. His 1.1 blocks per game ranked him 4th among rookies, an impressive stat for someone who rarely saw consistent minutes. The numbers spoke louder than the rotation choices. Each time TJD got extended run, he delivered. And yet, inexplicably, his name remained an afterthought in Steve Kerr's nightly lineup cards. The tipping point may have come on March 9th, 2025, when Jackson Davis was reassigned to the Santa Cruz Warriors. Publicly, he called an opportunity to get more minutes, not a demotion. But behind closed doors, sources close to the player paint a different picture. Jackson Davis has grown increasingly frustrated with what he perceives as a lack of trust from the coaching staff. He's worked tirelessly, adjusted to the Warriors system, and proven he can contribute now, not in 2 years. I want to play. I need to play, he said privately, according to those familiar with his mindset. The hunger is there, and it's starting to spill out into the open. League executives are taking note. Multiple teams have reportedly reached out to Golden State expressing interest in Jackson Davis, sensing a rare opportunity to pry away a young big with upside and a chip on his shoulder. For a Warriors team walking the tightrope between chasing one last title with their aging core and building for the future, the pressure is mounting. Do they risk losing a potential gem by clinging to the past? Or do they let go of a player who's becoming increasingly vocal about his ambitions? One thing's for certain, Tracy isn't waiting quietly anymore. Whether or not the Warriors realize it, they may be sitting on a ticking clock. Jackson Davis has the demeanor of someone who's no longer asking for his chance. He's demanding it. And if Golden State won't give it to him, another franchise undoubtedly will. As the offseason looms, don't be surprised if TJD becomes one of the hottest names on the market. Not because he's running from the grind, but because he's outgrown the sidelines. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.